Hey everyone, sorry I'm late, but I am at San Francisco International Airport. Once again, I'm actually Mission Rock Bar and Grill. I always keep saying Mission Rock, it's actually Mission Bar and Grill. And I'm headed to New York on a late flight to catch, well, I'm credentialed to cover the NFL owners meeting, as some of you know, and quite excited, looking forward to it. It turns out it's going to be a players' summit. But I don't know that Colin Kaepernick is going to be there, even though Colin Kaepernick does live in New York. So it promises to be, quite, to say the least, at the minimum, fascinating. So on the train here, I caught BART. For those of you who are forever Oakland as I am, right? First of all, Godfather Grizz and I will be on tomorrow night at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. It'll be a combination Forever Oakland NFL Owners Meeting first day recap show, okay? So that's what we decided because he couldn't do tonight. And I like to go to the airport early, so here I am. The Colts lost. I only say that because I thought they were going to beat I thought wayward Titans, but they're not. They're actually good. So they're actually good. So we'll have to see how this impacts the balance of power in the AFC. I am actually now going to tweet this out. Let's see here for everyone. Let's see, hashtag NFL. There. Hey, Big A-ful, how are you? I'm glad they got Bowman too, the Raiders. Let's talk about that now, because we had a live stream last week where as soon as it was announced that Navarro Bowman was released for the Niners, I said, hey, the Raiders should sign him. And that's exactly what happened, right? So so now he's an Oakland Raider for 1 year at $3 million. And he's the middle linebacker that everybody wanted. Just straight out everybody wanted. So as I said before, he brings this to the table. 562 tackles over his career, 182 assists, 12.5 sacks. He's been in the league since 2010. He was drafted by the Niners in the 3rd round from Penn State. He was a hitter then, never stopped being a hitter, never stopped being a leader for the Niners. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
Yeah, nice to see you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, nice to be here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You
Coffee
too.
with you, right?
Yes, sir. You got it. Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. So anyway, the question is whether or not, and I don't know the answer to that yet, the Raiders are going to start Navarro Bowman for the Chiefs game. That's a deep dive to have been signed on Monday, and let's see here. Citrus says it was reported he was going to be traded, Saints 7th round pick. He wanted to choose his own team. Yeah. And you know what? He's got roots here in the Bay Area, right? So it's only logical that he stay here. And that's what I was thinking when I thought the Raiders should go after him. And fortunately, General Manager Reggie McKenzie thought the same thing. I think this is going to go down as one of the greatest, timeliest signs in Raider history. Big A-ful says he can't get enough of the D he will play. Oh yeah, no, he's perfectly suited for the Raiders brand of the Seahawk defense, okay? And I think he's going to excel in it. But they need him against the Chiefs. They will need him against the Chiefs. And can you imagine if somehow, some way, Aldon Smith comes out of wherever he is and winds up playing for the 49ers. I mean, excuse me, for the Raiders. See, I did it again. For the Raiders? Wow. That would be something. If, in case you're wondering, this is not the first time that by far, that the Raiders and Niners, or I should say that a 49er has become a Raider, okay? And of course, the most notable example was Jerry Rice coming over to play for the Oakland Raiders and then paired with Tim Brown to lead the Raiders to play in Super Bowl 38, which they sadly lost. Well, they were blown out of the stadium, of course. And so Citrus says, Citrus informs us that Navarro is good in our 3-4 scheme. You know, I understand that, but I'm not a... And I understand that Dr. Jen, you know, I had Jen Walter on, the NFL's first female coach on, and she says, you know, she did a great breakdown of why 3-4, 4-3, it kind of doesn't matter. But in terms of alignment, to me, in terms of the even front versus the odd front, in defense where you don't have the bubble area to deal with, it does matter. You want to have a defense that keeps Bowman able to roam free and make tackles. He can also read the pulling guard, shoot the gap, and make tackles behind the line of scrimmage like nobody's business. So I think it was an excellent decision, excellently executed. And I can't say excellently enough. Big April says, can the Raiders save the season and go for 7 or 8 game winning streak? Don't forget Jim Plunkett, once a 49er, then came to the Black Hole and won a Super Bowl. It's possible, but the Raiders have to make some fundamental changes, not just personnel, but a problem with the Raiders is that, for example, on offense, they play very narrow line splits. For the kind of running back they have in Marshawn Lynch, they need to increase their line splits by a foot, thereabouts, thereby creating natural, first of all, causing the defense to spread, and then creating natural holes for the Raiders running backs, not just Marshawn Lynch, to exploit, but also from a passing game perspective, it causes the passing pocket to be elongated, and it takes longer for the passing pocket to collapse. So my take is that just a simple, it really is a simple lengthening of the line. So Big April asks, was letting Musgrave go a mistake? Yes, it was a mistake. Perhaps something happened in the locker room between the coach and the offensive coordinator. I don't mean in that way, but I'm saying, when I say locker room, I mean euphemistically. It could have been a technical disagreement. It could have been a miscommunication, but it was a mistake. Citron says, Kondo didn't mess up snap game, would have gone overtime. I don't blame kicker that missed field goal. Well, you know, Citron, I have this view, and I see what your point is, but if you're playing a great game like, for example, the Titans did tonight, if you win by that margin, it doesn't come down to, or you don't allow it to come down to, hey, thanks, pal. How you doing? I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You don't let it come down to one play like that. You know, you've got it to where, well, you know, it's obvious you're going to win. You have to be good enough. This is true for any team, the Patriots. You have to be good enough to overcome your mistakes, and that's the key. Not just in one area, but in all phases. They interrelate, and the reason someone might say, "Well, how come? Why did you focus on?" You see what I'm getting at? I mean, someone might say, "Why did you focus any on the line splits?" And my answer is that if the line splits are better or a little wider, the running game is improved, and therefore that allows for improved ball control, which keeps your defense off the field because your offense is on the field longer and increases time of possession. So that's how they're interrelated, right? So there's a driver, if you will. It's like system dynamics. It's a form of modeling, right? There's a driver variable in any complex system. And you have to find that and then make changes there. That way you're not making wholesale changes. I assert that driver is in the line splits that the Raiders are currently using. They need to be wider. There you go. So, hey, did everybody get their notification? Because I'm concerned that lately the notification has been off, and I need to run that up to the YouTube flagpole, see what's going on. So wait for your response there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to also run a quick test here. But did everybody get their notification that's on here? Hold on a second. Did you get notification? You did? Oh, Big April did. Okay, great. Okay, great. Great. And let's see here. Hold on a second. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I am actually going to put this on Facebook. And also I'm making some alterations to the live stream here. Okay? Hold on a second. Citra says, you think they were protecting Carr with a short passing game? He never threw passing. Yeah, they were. And I thought it was a smart decision. And it's not, I don't object to the short passing game, as some of you know. Yeah. My thought basically is that it's not passing short, it's the design of the pattern. And a well-designed pattern can start off short, like a 5-yard catch, but a 5-yard catch can turn into a 30 or 40-yard run, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing to throw short at all. I like the short passing game. I really do. Now, so Citron, I'm not sure if that's what you're saying, or that, short passing game is a bad thing. But again, I happen to think that it's a good thing. Okay. Try to get this where it's brighter. I think. Well, let's see here. If I do that, maybe it's the background, right? So if I change the background like that, then my face is brighter. Interesting, huh? See, if I do that, then if I do this, it's brighter, right? If I do that, it's like, yeah, it's brighter. Interesting. Rick Rice, you are the man. You are the man. So let me try something with that background thing. Hold on, let me do this. If I turn it this way, nope. Let me try something else. That's a little better, okay? That's better. Because there's more, it kind of balances that out, right? So, but, hey, Rick Rice, what did you think of the game? Out of curiosity. Now, and if you're wondering where Godfather Grizz is, we're going to do it tomorrow. Citron says, I'm thinking because the injury, like how Carr under center more last year after he hurt his finger. Yeah, that didn't quite make any sense to me. But I believe that the whole issue regarding the change between Musgrave and Downing in elevation had to do with Carr ideas, a desire. I think it was really a desire on Del Rio's part to have something that was a bit more smash mouth. And my thought was that my feeling is that he and Musgrave came to a philosophical difference. That's what I think happened. Okay, I really do. Hold on a second. This is the Cobb salad here. Take a look. Ta-da! Yeah, it's pretty good. This is at Mission Bar and Grill. Now, getting back to the NFL news regarding the Titans. I want to check out these statistics. 1 second. NFL. So we can do a quick review of what happened. Hey, Raider Gans, he says, did you catch Amy Trask event? No, I didn't. I missed that. I missed a lot. I like to have Amy Trask on my show talking about that. I mean, for example, did you catch my interview with Jen Welter, the NFL's first female coach? I want to get Ms. Trask next. Now, the Titans came back, and I'm sorry, I'm just not a Titans fan. But they won 36 to 22. It's a final score. The Titans scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. 21. Rick Rice says that Carr has no confidence. It's his legs' fault. I don't know if it's a confidence issue. I think it is a... oh, by the way, I don't think it's a confidence issue. I think it's a scheme issue. I really do. I really do. It's amazing. I just saw the pick that Mariota threw, and he basically it was plucked out of the air. It was plucked out of the air, and ran back for a touchdown. Something else. Now, but talk about Carr. Rick Rice says again. I want to repeat this. He says, "I hate to say it, but I think his broken leg messed with his mind." Now, this is an interesting take. He's talking about, Rick Rice is talking about Derek Carr. This is an interesting take. He says that Carr is afraid to hold to on the ball and take shots downfield. He wants to get rid of it right away. I think that was, and I think Citron is on to something regarding the game plan. I think the objective was to have, basically to make it so that Carr didn't have to hold on to the football. I mean, I go with this. When all else fails, and you want to figure out what the team is doing, look at what they're doing, right? If they're throwing short, that's by game plan design. That's what I say. Hey, Karen, how are you? Welcome. And Karen, welcome back. Nice to have you. And love to have you here. And that's it. So we're talking about the Raiders and Navarro Bowman. What are your thoughts? And Rick Rice says that Carr has no confidence at all. At all. What are you saying? He says it's his legs' fault. Now, my thought is different. Oh, by the way, it's a double shares night if you are investing. And for those of you who don't know, I'm at the airport because I'm going to the NFL owners meeting to cover the NFL Fall League meeting. Okay? That's where I'm headed. So, Corvette says, Carr looks like a scared chicken. Wow. Hey, speaking of chicken and scared, I gotta show you something. This is chicken, all right? This is chicken. This is chicken, and I'm not scared to eat it. Great salad. Great salad. But Corvette, why do you say Carr looks like a scared chicken? Rick Rice says Raiders have too many weapons that Downing knows what to do with. Offense has no identity. Downing stinks. So Rick Rice, your comment was a little confusing. You're saying that, I think what you meant to say is that the Raiders have more weapons that Downing knows what to do with. Talking about Todd Downing, the Raiders offensive coordinator, right? I think that's what you meant to say. Big April says, look at play calling a year ago. Look at play calling now. It tells the whole story. Exactly. Exactly. It tells the entire story. I couldn't have said it better. When all else fails, look at what is being called on the field. That's what you do. That's what you do. So, I am. Now, if you are on Facebook, hey, by the way, post this. And hold on a second. I'm trying to. Whoops. What I am doing right now is I'm posting this on Facebook, and I'm gonna target. I'm gonna tag the Forever Oakland people among others. Okay. And oops. Excuse me. Go live, and then hashtag Raiders, and then I'm gonna put the link here. No, and then hashtag NFL, right? Okay. Now, there. Sorry if you can see my fingers, but I've got this rested on my laptop like this. This is, and I'll show you in a second. Okay. Greg Jones. What I'm doing right now is tagging, okay? Chris. Then let's see here. Got trying to get the usual suspects in here, all right? And you know who the usual suspects are, right? This is going to be. Let's see here. All right. One moment. Whoops. Sorry about that. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. I'll show you what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. See that? Tagging. You know John Mara, right? So I'm tagging John Mara. And Larry E. Jackson. And Bouse. There's Bouse. Post to Facebook. That's what I'm doing. So there we go. Right? So you get the idea. All right. All right. Now, Ryan Miller says, "Are you going to the owners' meeting?" Yes, I am. Yep, I am. I'm headed to the NFL Owners Spring League Fall meeting in New York, which is also the NFL Players Summit on Tuesday. So I'm really looking forward to, and quite honored to be able to cover it. It promises to be a pivotal meeting. And hey, Uncle Larry, how you doing? Oh, now here I don't want to miss this comment, by the way, because Corvette says Carr is trying to get the ball out as quick as possible. Anyone gets near him and he checks down, throwing the ball on the ground and throwing over 10 yards. So my question, given that, is this: to what degree? To ask this question, to what degree? Ed Reed, how are you? To what degree is that because of a lack of confidence in E.J. Manuel? I'm just asking. Now, we've got Kevin KD. I'll get to your question. It's a very good one in a second, all right? And we've got Karen Christensen says we need Bowman, Navarro Bowman, especially since we just released Terrell Adams, the backup middle linebacker to the injured Lee. Great point, Karen. Kung Lao says it's never over. Remember KC in 2015, won their first game, they lost their next 5 games. They won 10 in a row. All we need is Oakland to be on the same page as the first 2 games. Absolutely right. Ed Reed says, Zen, we got out-coached, bottom line. Ed Reed speaks the truth. And we go for it. Then we have them pinned at their 3-yard line, and they drive down, no blitzes, nothing. Yeah, we have this problem where we don't use, how do I say it? We don't use exotic defenses to get the job done, and it haunts us and it hurts us every time. Rick Rice says, "Nice to see you back, Karen." It is nice to see you back, Karen. I'm glad you're here. I really am. Let's see here. We've got Flavio, welcome. How are you? Flavio says Thursday night is going to be awesome. I know it will take time, but Mac, the Bruce, and Bowman, the new beast of D, is going to be a great trio for a few years at the least. Go Raider, Mr. Raider Nut. Uncle Larry says need to push the ball upfield and use Richard and Washington more in the passing game. I agree. Dank Mex Attack says we should make Coop run more slants and let him do the rest. Kevin KD says, and KC renovated their stadium to the tune of $300 million, while the Raiders have to battle the major distraction, the failing relocation attempt. Yep. Rick Rice says, we're playing checkers while everyone is playing chess. Head coach and both coordinators are the Pits. Karen Christian says, thanks. Have missed being here. We missed having you, Karen. It's nice to have you back. And Kevin KD says, Dark Mets agree on Cooper with the slants. I do too. And it's much better to have him running the slants as opposed to those wide receiver screens that are occasionally getting him killed. Ugh. So, Bernard, how are you? Nice to see you, Bernard. Nice to have you here. People are coming in. So yeah, Corvette says, look at the stats. Carr is on the bottom for throwing over 10 yards. Uncle Larry says, need to push the ball up the field and use Richard and Washington more. And again, I point to this. Kevin KD had a comment I don't want to miss. Kevin, I'm going to come back to that. Kevin KD asked, what will they be talking about the owners meeting? It's Tuesday will be the NFL Players Summit. And that's I wouldn't say it's an impromptu decision, but it was more responsive to the kind of weirdly weird PR that this whole NFL protest issue has formed. And so I don't know the agenda for that. I haven't gotten it yet. It was announced by NFL.com. Some people, I've contacted the league. I'm trying to get information. Maybe I've gotten something that I don't have yet. So there you go. Now, and so Karen Christian says we need secondaries. Karen, I think we need a pass rush. Ed Reed says, Zen, is the deal still falling apart? I haven't seen any indication it's better. Talking about the Las Vegas deal. And it's, look, stadium development of this magnitude on that piece of land in that area is not something you can do overnight. And as I said, before the league made its decision, the deal, by its structure, is bad. By its very structure, okay? So, that's the problem. Now, hey, John Marks, how are you? Great to have you here, Mr. Marks. How you doing? How are you? Now, Karen Christian asks a great question. She asks, she says, I'm wondering if Todd Downing should go back to being quarterback coach. Great question. That's a great question, Karen. And you got, let's see here. Kevin KD says, I read on NFL.com article that stated the owners want players to point out certain groups they feel geared to come back and just like and support them financially. Interesting. And John Marks, I'm blessed. Thank you for asking. Rick Rice says passing to running backs is a major strength. It was. Remember last year when we played the Texans and how we went to the backs in Mexico? Brilliant. Karen says, when is the next Oakland Alameda County JPA meeting? That's the 20th. Kevin KD says the owners also want to support the passing of legislation to address issues pertaining to social injustice and the plight of the anthem protests. Felio says, yes, Richard thrived in those places. Certainly did. Certainly did. I'm going to read Raiders should target running back. Yeah, Rick Rice is great. Rick Rice is the man. He is the real man. One moment. So, Mission Bar and Grill. Great salad. Great salad. You're right. Kevin KD says a 5-11 record will make me cry for 11 days. Make me cry for 1 day. John Marks, yes, the Raiders got Navarro Bowman from the 49ers. Get this, he doesn't have to move. It's really cool, right? He doesn't have to move. So, and Kevin KD says yes, and he loves it. Raymond says Downing is approaching the hot seat. Yeah. Joseph Binsman, how are you? Joseph Binsman says, what's up, folks? Monday night game, better than expected. The Yankees won? Oh my God, the Yankees won. Uncle Larry says, need to get creative with Coop, get him some reverses, and maybe even have him come out of the blackfield. Yeah. And John Marks reacts, wow, cool. And Uncle Larry says, need to get, got that one. Dark Mix says, Raiders need to focus on stopping Kareem Hunt. Yeah, that's right. Rob says Marshawn Lynch is not working out. I don't think that's it. I think it's I'll tell you what I think it is with the Marshawn Lynch thing, okay? The problem is that with Lynch is not Lynch. It's the scheme that he's put in. And the Raiders, again, I said this again, the Raiders are playing narrow line splits. They need to widen the line splits, widen the defense, create the holes for Lynch to run into, okay? And that will allow Lynch to pick up at least, by my estimation, just by analysis, about 1 to 2 yards extra per carry, okay? Which, if you think about it, is significant. That makes the likelihood of a breakaway run that much greater. But here's the other problem. Here's why I emphasize the I formation. On a number of plays, the Raiders have Marshawn Lynch running crossbuck. In other words, the ball is here, okay? Lynch is here, but the eventual what's called point of attack is over here. So the defense flows toward him and they stop him. You have the eye, it's here. That cuts the defense in half. So he already has a head start. If you give him the ball and he's in this area, this direction, okay? He doesn't start from here. So you've shortened the distance to the eventual point of attack. If the Raiders did that, that was the beauty of Lynch's runs when you analyze the work that he did in the past. Okay? So, Orlando Jimenez, how are you? He says, Orlando says, we can have an all-star team, but we don't have a good playbook scheme. Yes. And the right personnel in that time. I feel like it will still work on both sides of the ball. Bernard says he wants to move to more of a zone blocking scheme. They kind of actually do use a zone blocking scheme, but again, here's the weird thing about the Raiders. They use a zone blocking scheme, but the line splits are narrow, okay? Many zone blocking schemes, you analyze the history of zone blocking, have wider line splits. So it's kind of a weird egg, and I know these are matters of philosophy as much as they are science. I don't know what the Raiders' thinking is on that because I haven't had the opportunity to ask, you know. And so Joseph Bensman says that Aaron Rodgers got hurt again. Brew of luck with his collarbone. Yeah, that was a blow to the Packers. With Aaron Rodgers, the Packers were a Super Bowl contender. Without, it's a crapshoot. I'm not going to say no, but, all right. So, I like Dark Mech says Kevin Katie says every time Lynch wants to run, he gets bottled up, and that's because they flow to the point of attack. It's like the hounds to the hunters. Okay, they telegraph the play, and they do it all the time. With an eye, they can start off one way. He's a little less predictable, right? He can look for the backside cutback better. They don't give him that opportunity in the way they're doing it now. So, Bernard says, I really think Bowman will help the Raiders' defense. Bowman says, I feel the D isn't our biggest problem right now. The offense, with all the talent, is struggling. John Mark says, hurts my fantasy team since Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Wow. Hey, by the way, so does Steve Sisolak, right? Think about him. Robert Iman says, Downing is in over his head. Karen Christensen says, there sure are a lot of injuries to key players this year. Isn't that the truth? Aaron Rodgers, Jameis Winston, wow. Dark Mass Attack says, we need to give Lynch more touches like Peterson. He was the all-offense to Seahawks. Hey, speaking of which, I just want to see something with respect to the Colts game and see what Mariota's final numbers were. Because Mariota, looks like Mariota had that game, and he did. Marcus Mariota wound up 23 of 32, 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But get this, once again, it's the running game. Derrick Henry, listen to this. It wasn't DeMarco Murray. It was the Alabama star, Derrick Henry. 19 rushes, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, longest gain, 72 yards. Wow. I mean, how about that, folks? How about that? So, that, give it to the Titans. Give it to the Titans. Ed Reed says you have to keep feeding Marshawn Lynch 22 carries. You'll see the results. He's a jackpot waiting to pay out. By the way, double shares night, folks. I mean, I have, if I didn't announce that before, just in case I want to make sure that I've announced it today, right now. And it is double shares right here. There. I will mark this. Like I said, yeah. There you go. Kevin KD says, oh, Bernard says, Zenny, please apply for the Raiders OC job. It's a good idea. Why not? Boy. Kevin KD says, Mariota confuses me. I still feel like he doesn't have a good feel for the quarterback position. Even when his stats are good, he does not look spectacular, and he's always injured. Yeah, he's a China doll. I mean, I thought Mariota was out for the year, but he came back, right? But his team needed him, okay? And Robert Iman says Malarkey is a mediocre coach. We've got, let's see here, looking through the other comments, and make sure Corvette says, look at Belichick. He gets the most out of his players. If he were our coach, we would be winning. True. Robert Iman says, I think Hugh Jackson's going to be fired before the season ends in Cleveland. I'm really, I know Hugh is a friend. I am really disappointed in his performance. I really am. Uncle Larry says, Uncle Larry says something I agree with. Raiders should use more hurry up. And I'm wondering if they actually have a nomenclature for hurry up offense, right? I doubt that. But we've got, let's see here. John Marks says, that's a lot of malarkey, Rob. Rick Rice says, every time we're in the hurry up, we move the ball right downfield. Carr's a gunslinger. Let the man sling. He calls him bust mode. Rick Rice calls Marshawn Lynch bust mode, not beast mode. Kevin KD says that Carr needs to stay in the park and he should still be out. He's not healthy. Big Eightful says that Casey jumps the Raiders, they might revert back to the Dennis Allen Raiders. And he's hoping for the best, but they might. Karen Christensen says, does she like Hugh Jackson? He always said we are building a bully and we're going to get better. And I agree, but here's the problem. At what point, and I think Hugh deserves at least one more year, do you just say, hey, cut bait? He's got a great quarterback. They had a great draft, but in a place where scheme matters, I've got to believe the Browns can do better than they're doing. I really do. And Rob Iman says Hugh is mismanaging the QBs in Cleveland. Why do you say that, Rob? I just want to hear your point of view. And Kevin KD says Dennis Allen was the worst Raider coach I've ever seen. Big April says we all know he was. And Dark Mix says Carr needs to have more awareness in the pocket. And I think that's a lot by design. I really do. And hold on a second here. I had no wonder they were hiding it from me. Hold on a second, folks. Oh, I'm wondering what I'm reaching for. And it's the dressing. Hold on a second. It's the dressing, because the salad is right here. See this? Ooh. And it's right here. So, right there. Salad at Mission Bar and Grill is outstanding. So if you're ever here in Terminal 3, come to Mission Bar and Grill, SFO, great place. Now, yeah, I love Rick Rice. I love the Cobb salad. Bernard says I hope for the Raiders to win. Robert Lyman says I think Kessler should be starting. And yeah, I'm at SFO, Bernard. I am. I'm at San Francisco International Airport. Yep. Uncle Larry says some coordinators who become head coaches are just better coordinators. True. And John Mark says, do the Raiders ever sell their media guides anymore? I'll find out. I'll ask. And I think Rob Iman says, I think Kessler, talking about the Browns, should be starting. And going back to Kaiser is going to hinder his development even more. Yeah, pick a quarterback and stick with that quarterback. The one thing the Raiders did is they picked Carr and they rode the horse, okay? You got to like that. They picked Carr and they rode the horse. That's what they did. So, Bernard says, I still have hope for the Raiders to win on Thursday. Remember, we were 0-10. We lost to the Chiefs for our first win. Obviously, the Chiefs are better this season, but I have hope. And I believe I've got everybody's comments too. This Karen says, Rick Rice says, C.J. Beathard is elite. Oh, God, talking about the Niners. Bernard loves SFO Airport. John Mark says, I know the Raider image doesn't anymore since I came back briefly in 2016. Don't quite understand that comment, John Marks. Dank Mex Attack says, we should use Peterson more touchdown machine. And I think you're talking Patterson. Joseph Bensman says, is the game in Oakland Thursday? Yes, it is. Rob Iman says, a loss on Thursday could trigger a players-only meeting. Could? I think they probably have already had some players-only meetings myself, Wow. Yeah, wow. Hey, folks, welcome to Zenny62. We're talking about the Raiders, and we're talking about Navarro Bowman acquisition. We're talking about the Titans topping the Colts and Marcus Mariota, even though he's a China doll, coming back and winning 23 of 32, 301 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. There's a pick 6. Uncle Larry says, Zinni, do you think there's a problem in the locker room? I've heard a rumor that there was back in Washington, in that the black players were concerned about Derek Carr's, not standing for the anthem and everything, and he's the quarterback. So, it's sad to say it, but that locker room, the head coach is supposed to control the locker room, right? When you hear stories like that getting out, you have to ask to what degree Jack Del Rio lost control of the message of the locker room. There's some things that just stay in the locker room, and he should have gotten a hold of that if he didn't right off the bat. That rumor is still lingering out there. Uncle Larry says, I got that one. Joseph Bensman says, Raiders have a chance because the game is in Oakland, but he doubts they'll win. He said the Chiefs will be mad they lost to the Steelers. Rob Iman says, we'll see how Landry Lunk does in his return next week for the Colts. Yeah, they're a little off. It's too bad he didn't come back for the Titans game. They really needed him. And John Mark says, the Raiders image store in Hayward, California. Ah, okay. I briefly come back to California for a visit, and the store didn't have the media guides on sale. I'll ask the Raiders about that. We'll see. So, I'll ask. So, we've got the other, looking at the game, what I want to see is, you're very welcome. I want to see one thing for those of you who might be wanting to comment about the Colts-Titans game. How many people saw the game? Did you see the Colts-Titans game?
Colts-Vikings?
Titans.
Titans game tonight, yeah.
You saw it?
Yeah.
What'd you think? We're doing my live stream on it. Hey, can I give you guys a shout out?
Sure.
I'm gonna give them a shout out here real quick, all right? These guys are the best. What's your name?
Tom.
Tom Zinni.
Nice to meet you, my friend.
Zinni62. These guys are the best.
You're the best.
The airport, you want to watch sports, you come to Mission Bar and Grill, ask for this man right here. Hey, I'll see you. So just want to give him a shout out, So definitely. Eric Richardson says, you would think Las Vegas would see the financial issues with ads being pulled. Yeah. But, hey, saving face is a big thing. It's a big deal. It just is, okay? Saving face is saving face, right? So, Rob Iman says, Teddy Bridgewater might be back for the Vikings. That would be huge for them to get him back with them on a 2-game winning streak. 831 Scott, how are ya? John Mark says, what's the update on Vegas? The latest update I've seen on Vegas is, well, first of all, let's just recap. We have no information on the UNLV deal. The next meeting is not in October, it's November 9th. We have the tragedy, and that's going to have an impact. Undoubtedly, okay? So, we don't have any positive news right now. We just don't. We've got... We're in a waiting game. 831 Scott says, my brother's house burned down. Oh, wait a minute. 831 Scott's brother's house burned down in Santa Rosa. Folks, let's have a moment of silence for what happened. 30 seconds. All right, so, hey, sorry to hear that, Scott. That was burned down. Wow, where's he now? Sorry to hear his house burned down. Where is he now? Yeah, really sorry to hear that news. That's is he safe? I guess if something happened, he probably would have told us. I don't know. He's staying with you. Excellent. No, that's just, something someone was asking me about the fact that there were some empty seats at the game, and I said, well, you have to consider the fire, because there are a lot of Raider fans who were impacted by the fire who, look, they had higher priorities than trying to come to the game. I'm going to try to come back to the JPA meeting. That's, because that is, let's see, 17th. Today is the 17th. JPA meeting is this Friday. My first priority is Mom, so I may get somebody to cover that for me, because I told Mom I was coming back after the JPA meeting, after the NFL meeting. Corvette says, look at Del Rio record as head coach in Jacksonville, where everyone double digits wins the next season. Yep. Joseph Bisbee says, pretty timely how the firefighter movie about fighting wildfires is about to come out in those theaters. Yeah, that was bad. And let's see here. But I'm glad you point out something about Del Rio's record. But Karen Christensen says, 831 Scott, I feel bad about that. I lived in Napa most of my life and had never seen anything like this. I haven't either. And not only that, the coverage of it nationally has been horrible. Just horrible. And John Mark says, prayers to 831 Scott. Yes, absolutely. Prayers. Definitely. And thank you. Yeah, and I'm glad your brother is blessed to have you in his life so that he can stay with you. And as Karen Christensen just pointed out, Charles Schwartz's house burned down too. I didn't get a chance to read about that. Was that with his stuff in it, or was it completely moved out? I didn't read about what happened there. I'm sorry. If you know, I'd love to know. Okay, I'd love to know that. Hey, Karen, is your family okay? If your family's in Napa, is your family okay? So, Joseph Jones says, I spent my teenage years in Roanoke Park and Santa Rosa, so this touches me because I have a lot of friends. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, 831 Scott, John Mark says, you're a great man. And, wow. And Karen Christian says, what? I didn't. Oh, cell phone service is terrible where? Oh, where you are? Oh, okay. I don't know. Anyway, let's see here. We got... Oh, in Napa. Cell phone service in Napa. Okay. Now, Rick Gray, how are you? How are you doing? Rick Gray says, real sad. Prayers to everyone in the North Cal region affected by the fires. Joseph Jones says, North Bay service. Oh, yeah, all the towers are burned down. Jeez. It's just horrible. Horrible. Hey, welcome to Zenny62 Live, by the way, if you're just joining us. We're talking about the San Jose Fire, the Raiders, getting Navarro Bowman, the Titans beating the Colts in surprising fashion, scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter. Talking about the NFL owners meeting tomorrow that I'm headed to. And the Players Summit. So, yeah. So we've got all that on the table and more. And I don't know if you saw if you look at Zenny62, look at my previous video, it's Rudy, who was the cook for Forever Oakland yesterday at the game. He saw me on the train, so I gave him a video shout out. So Joseph Jones says, Zenny, do you plan to ask anyone in the owners meeting about the Raiders in Vegas? Yes, I do. Karen Christian says, as far as the article said, most of the Snoopy stuff was placed in a museum. Okay, great. That's great news. We're saved. That's great news. It's great news. This is, all right, so hold on a second. Hey, 31 Scott says, on a positive note, you're going to the Warriors game. Oh, full report, please. That's right, it's opening night. NBA opening night. NBA is a high, exciting ticket. Uncle Larry says, you think Kaepernick has a leg to stand on in his lawsuit? I do, because from one perspective, you could say, you know, the proof is in the pudding, right? Look at how teams have jumped over him, and they've signed lesser quarterbacks. Karen Christian says she's loved Napa, who plays it basically, and Rick Gray says, do you expect to hear any different info than what there was speaking publicly about the Las Vegas/Raiders issue? I expect to hear updated info. Now, there are a number of questions that haven't been asked because we haven't had a, if you will, a press conference where yours truly has been able to ask the league about the Vegas issue. John Mark says, my thoughts and prayers are with the Cal Fire, North Bay service, the families, and everybody in the Bay. Kevin KD says he wishes he'd go to the Warriors game. Hey, maybe you can get a hookup there, you know? Check StubHub. See what the prices are. Karen Christian says, I wonder if Cap will be allowed to play since he filed a lawsuit. That's an issue. You know, filing a lawsuit means, you know, people treat you differently, that you're suing, and that sort of thing. But yes, the Warriors are back tomorrow. And, hey, Crawford, 371. Crawford says, will they talk about the play that hurt Rodgers at the meeting? Will they consider making changes? I'll ask. And that's a great question, Crawford, because in all honesty, I didn't consider that as something to ask at the league meeting, so I'll ask it. And yeah, the Warriors are favored. Wow. Corvette says, how many days in the meeting for the NFL? 2. Tuesday and Wednesday. My battery is running down, so what I'm going to do is this. I am going to... There's 20 of you watching. I can't let go right now. It's like, doggone it. Oh, man. But, and there's a good streamer who's like, this has been a good night, you know? So, but it's 2 days, and I'm going to start live streaming. I get in at about 9:30 in the morning, and so it'll take me probably about an hour and a half. So let's say I get in there at 11 o'clock. I'm going to get to the hotel. And if the room isn't ready, I'm going to leave the bag there and then go straight to the Conrad, because that's where the league meeting is, and then just get started. And so, 831 Scott says, the Rockets have a great roster. It should be an exciting game. Who you got, Zenny? I got the Warriors at home, because I want to see how Shaggy P does. Snaggy P, yeah. Joe says, I think the league should go back the way it was, in my opinion. They know all the risks. John Mark says, any Forever Oakland people going to the meeting? Just me. Karen Christian says, what are the lawyers waiting for to start the lawsuit? Karen, I think it's a lot of trying to get their minds around it, and it's not so much the lawyers, it's the politicians. It's the city of Oakland, the county of Alameda, but also there's another factor that has to be considered. how many times have we said the Vegas deal is falling apart? The Raiders want to stay here until 2020, so it's hard to sue somebody if you're trying to work out a deal to keep them, right? Because they're here. Rick Ray says, with regards to the Raiders bitching about coaching sucks, but isn't there a new offensive coordinator and quarterback coach this year? Often seems terrible. Yep. Kevin KD says 66 mob. Bob Iman says NFL should use replay to enhance targeting rules next season. I like that. You mean to get them? I get that. You know, I'll ask about that. And see. Oh, 66 Warrior wins. Ooh, that's your prediction? Wow, 66 Warrior wins. 66. Hey, by the way, remember, tomorrow night, oh, Big April says, like I said, if they stay until 2020, they're not leaving Oakland. I agree. And again, the biggest issue has to do with the stadium hotel tax revenue. That stadium hotel tax revenue flow is jeopardized by 1 October. That's just a fact. France lost $843 million in tourism revenue after the Paris attacks. And they're the #1 tourist destination in the world. So 2020 is virtually unavoidable. Yep. Oh, the contract. Got to check that out. Hey, folks, I'm going to do this. It's 10:43 p.m., which makes it 1:43 p.m. in the East. I'm going to stop because I'm going to finish my salad because I haven't touched any of it. And I will see you tomorrow. Tune in or catch it. Remember, starting at about, well, I'll be posting static videos, but check out after, I'll give you the high sign. You'll see it after about, I would say 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, my first live stream, Eastern, which would be 10 o'clock on the West, okay? So, peace, love, and soul to all of you. Karen, I'll check that out. And you got it. And John Marks, you said it. Don Cornelius stopped better than I could. Good night, Karen. Thank you. Welcome back. Great to have you. And peace out, everybody. I'll see you guys. Good night, everybody. Good night, all. Remember, when you're at SFO Airport, Mission Bar and Grill. Come by and check it out. All right. Later, all. See you guys. See ya. See ya. Thank you. And by the way, how do you like the new phone? Right? No microphone. It's an iPhone 8 Plus. I'll see you. Oh, 1 o'clock p.m. tomorrow, which is 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Okay? Got that one. All right. All right. Okay? Good night, everybody. Okay, good night. Okay, see you guys. See ya. See ya. That's right. Watch horror films and keep America strong. Absolutely. Definitely. Thank you. See you guys. Hey, how do you like the sound, by the way? Real quick. How do you like the sound? How do you like the sound? Is it better? Is it better? Sound better? Thanks, Kevin KD. Hey, how do you guys like the sound? Just curious. Awesome. Thank you. That's the iPhone 8. Thank you. No, I don't. I have a microphone, but I don't need it. I use the microphone for outside stand-up, but I don't need it. So yeah, sound ID is great. All right, guys, gals. See you guys later. Thank you. Okay, see ya. And remember, tomorrow, NFL owners meeting. See ya. Thank you.